What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin, XCN. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it. I don't know. I really think that there's somebody out there who is talking about XCN specifically in the volume, because I see either that or there really is just one account who's creating a bunch of comments about it. I don't know, but somebody I think is misleading people and saying that XCN has no volume, and that might be because they don't do their own research and like actually like use critical thinking. But I don't know where it's coming from. It seems like people are really worried about the volume. What, because it doesn't have this immense level of volume back here that it had, because it's down here, because it's below what we've seen as average, which average back here, and this is from the last 45 days, would be included in something that's rather miraculous and much higher prices. If you look at XCN OnyxCoin here, it's got 6% of its volume to market cap ratio over a 24-hour basis. Now that's not immaculate volume, but that's desirable volume. And there are a lot of cryptos that don't even have that, right? Like I don't know. I don't know who is out there smacking up XCN because it's got low volume. I mean, this is what's crazy is this is low volume for XCN, but this is still desirable volume. There are like 95% of cryptos, probably even more than that, that would kill for this kind of volume right now. They don't, according to their market cap by market cap ratio, right? The volume itself, 21 million, that's not inherently impressive in itself, but relative to the market cap, that is, this percentage of volume is anything but low. It's pretty standard. It's desirable. And there are a lot of coins that have dropped less than XCN, that have been boring or sideways just like XCN, and they see less than 1%, less than 3%, less than 2%, right? Stuff like that. Like it this is not bad volume. So just understand, if you're someone out there, and maybe you guys are just trolling, I don't know, but anybody who thinks that this is low volume, just understand that they're probably in their first bull cycle, or they just don't know what they're talking about, or both. And I would probably lean on both more so. And if you're getting this, I don't really watch too many YouTubers, right? The YouTubers that I do watch are like the big accounts, because I want to see what like a lot of people are retaining, what kind of information is coming in. I watch like very, very big accounts on YouTube. But if there is like a smaller account, or an account that's my size, or even like 3 times my size in subscribers, and they're saying that XCN has low volume, they just genuinely don't know what they're talking about. Or if this is just something that's like a mass effect of people who are noticing this, or maybe they're just putting it to mind because I'm bringing it up, and I'm just kind of reinforcing the thought. I don't know, but it literally kind of drives me a little bit bananas. So I'm like, how are you guys? What do you mean this is low volume? This is great volume. This is perfect, and we're still. This is what's crazy is 6% essentially, and we're at some of the lowest levels of volume that we've seen for XCN throughout this whole time, and that's still desirable volume. And we're at this very boring time where we've already dropped like over 70%. You guys, this is not bad. Like, there's still that much interest going on. There's still that much trade happening at these levels. That's awesome, right? The ones that have low volume, the ones that don't have desirable volume, they got to worry, man, because they might drop a significant amount here. It's really easy to move through the order books whenever there's not a lot of volume, right? When there's less liquidity, you got to kind of you break out to those areas where there's more. But somebody also is saying, and it's a good question. Somebody was asking, they weren't like talking smack, but they were asking if this pump was manipulated, which I think it was, to some degree. I think that it was. We had pretty increased amounts of volume back here, that really didn't make sense for the market cap ratio. I do believe they're like, if it was a manipulated pump, can we trust this to be a bull flag? And that's actually a really good question. That is I think that's a fair question to ask. And yes, the answer is yes, absolutely you can. The thing is, all price action to some degree is manipulated, right? Market makers exist for everything. They manipulate it to certain prices in key areas, and make no mistake, there's no coincidence here that you found resistance right at your 2618. There's no coincidence that you're finding support right at your 1618. There are market makers involved with this, right? So they are manipulating, controlling, guiding the price so that it provides a certain sentiment or a sociological outlook on it to help it grow or decay. And that's the whole purpose of market making is I suppose it's debatable, but it's to guide the price. It's to paint a picture for people to see. And beyond all that, also, it's for them to make money, right? If there are key areas that are taken out right as they're taken out, and people start to panic sell, well, that was done with a design so that they stop hunt anybody who is about to sell, capitulate anybody who's going long, stuff like that. Same thing with the upside, right? If you have anybody shorting XCN right now, I don't know if anybody is shorting it, but maybe you're getting eaten up by the fees if you are, unless you're in and out. But You know, if we were to move up before we move down, that would definitely be a stop hunt, and that's manipulation. Those things happen all the time before we move down, right? But I digress. All I'm trying to say is no, I don't. I don't think that, and that's a great question. Whoever asked that, that's a great question. It's not invalid. This is not an invalid bull flag. And somebody tried to tell me that it's starting to look less and less like a bull flag every day, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, man. The only more perfect looking bull flag in the space right now than XCN USD is the XCN BTC bull flag, right? They're both phenomenal. They literally are both. This one is just even more perfect, honestly. It's amazing. And I want to see how many weeks are we coming up on that we've been moving down for, by the way. Let's see. I guess that's tight as hell, man. That's really tight. From this high down here, it has been 9 weeks that we've been moving down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 weeks that we've been moving down. This could be the week, you guys. This could be the week that we bottom out. You know, stuff like this, they like to do it in odd numbers. It doesn't mean that it has to be odd numbers, but here you got one. Let's see, it's going to be an even number. Watch, this is going to be a bad example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, there we go. Odd number on the low side. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that one didn't provide that big of a pump, right? Whenever it's even, that's kind of the idea is that if it's even, it's not valid. If it's odd, it is valid. But here you had 2 to the downside, right? It's not a perfect science. Nothing is, but it's just kind of like think of it as like a rule of thumb or like an old wives' tale in the space. Here, if we got let's just see from here, you started moving down. Oh, come on, that wasn't enough. Right here on this one, right? And then you found your low right from that top down here. That was 9 weeks, and then you moved up, right? You had a substantial. It doesn't seem that substantial, but after dropping so much, pumping a nice 79%, I'm sure that was a nice sigh of relief. That's the definition of a relief rally right there. But yeah, guys, I think that we're fine. I think that we're more than fine. And it seems to me as if the bears or the haters, the trolls, they're getting desperate, right? Like they whenever you get in an argument with people, and not that I argue with people online. I like to make fun, right? But I'm not necessarily arguing. I wouldn't even say I'm arguing. They try to argue with me on my content and stuff like that. Whenever I see that someone's arguing and they're making no sense, they're saying things that just literally don't make sense. That's how you know that someone's getting desperate. Like in an argument, people start to make no sense, right? Whenever you start to lose an argument, you start to hear, or someone starts to lose an argument with you, you start to notice that they get less rational and more upset. And I'm noticing that, and it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to me why it's happening, I suppose, because you know, it just disagrees with their logic. But if you can call it logic, but man, we are literally fine. We are so fine. We're at 1.1 cents now. Moving down nice and steady. Yes. The average altcoin has dropped 55%, while XCN here from a high to a low has dropped 78%. But the average altcoin did not pump from the lows in December to the highs in January. 27x, almost a 28x, did they? The average altcoin since the beginning of November didn't see a 42x move overall. The average altcoin since the beginning of November is not up 9.5x from their lows, right? They're all back down at those lows. This thing is holding up. If this was, I'm not stubborn with this. Somebody else called me stubborn with this. I'm not stubborn, right? I'm not going to flop and fold just because we're moving down more than I thought we were, right? The targets are staying not because I'm stubborn, but because I can see the data here, right? If this was a pump and dump, right? Let's show you what a pump and dump is, right? This right here, this is a pump and dump. If it was a pump and dump, this is what we would see. But this is not what we saw, right? It's different. It's different, right? Pump and dump. That's literally why it's called a pump and dump. This is not a pump and dump. This is a pump and consolidate. Pumping and consolidating is good for you, right? Even whenever we did it here, we didn't see dramatically higher prices, but we still went higher. You know what I mean? This is a lot longer of the longer you consolidate, as long as it's healthy, and I think that this is a healthy consolidation phase. Inevitably, it will lead to a more phenomenal breakout. The longer you consolidate, the better. In bull flags, in my opinion, it's not actually that way. The shorter you consolidate, the better, because as the bull flag continues to drop, this measure move goes down. But even from the current low, let's just assume that we go down even below where I'm thinking. We go down to 0077, something like that. The measure move would take you up to 15.7 cents. And, you know, even if you bought at the absolute high here, if you were that guy that bought right up there, that girl that bought right up there, you're still from that measure move area, which is not going to happen. You're going to see higher prices than that. Would be like a 3.2x. You're still making good money, right? Let alone if you buy more down here. And this is another note that I want to touch on real quick, is that, you know, a lot of people think that they have to put in $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 for it to matter, and they've got like an extra $100 or $200 sitting in their bank account or something, and it's just sitting there, and it'll continue to sit there and sit there. But guys, we're at the time where it might be a good idea to start picking up some scraps. It's okay to scrap in, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I think that if you wait, you'll probably have better prices than this to buy. But even at these prices, right? If you can nail a 15x on $100, that's an extra thousand. That's an extra $1,500 in your pocket. Even if you're a multimillionaire, dude, you can just ball out on. I mean, well, you probably ball out more than $1,500 sometimes on like a night out, anyways. But I'm just saying it's a free. Maybe it's free, maybe it's not. Who knows, right? I can't promise anything. Nothing's guaranteed. But even $100 could turn into something that's well over $1,000, right? At this rate, at this current rate. Let alone if we do see the targets that I'm expecting. Even from this price, if we go up to the minimum areas that I'd be expecting, that's a 17. That's almost an 18x, guys. We're talking about $100. It could genuinely turn into multiple thousands of dollars. If you have scraps, and you think that it's not worth putting it in, I might as well just save it. If it's, and it's okay to save. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you want to save your money in cash, do you, right? Do you? I don't want to encourage people to put themselves in a bad financial situation and invest in things whenever they'd be better off having that money usable in the meantime. But if you see that money sitting there for months, why not? Like that's just my thought. Why not? Because it might go down a little bit. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think it's a great time to get in. I honestly do. I think that when it comes time, they really should hire me at the XCN OnyxCoin DAO. They should hire me as a salesperson. I'm convincing myself to like get my change jar and go to the bank and just put in a couple extra $100 right now. Even though that's really small in comparison to the overall amount of XCN that I'm holding, and probably what a lot of you are holding too, that can turn into some decent money. You can go on a vacation with a couple $1,000s. You can, or at least afford a good bit of it. That's rent money for a lot of people. That's bills. That's a lot of stuff. So 1.1 cents now. It wouldn't surprise me if we went a little bit lower. Enough talk, right? I'm really just talking so much because the price hasn't moved, right? So we're getting our minds right and understanding what's going on here, trying to understand the sentiment. And the sentiment to me is that there are a lot of people who have been DCAing down, doing this smart, and they aren't phased by this at all. And then there are a lot of I don't know if they're truly bearish or if they're just trolls, but they're getting desperate. You can see it, man. You can see it in the comments. They're nonsensical at this point, and all they've got is trash talk. Like, it literally, that's it. That's all you got. But we've got the hard data on our side, and the data right now, to be completely fair, is a little bit against us. We're going to go down to 0095, 00844, somewhere in that area, and then we'll pump from there. We'll see a nice amount of growth. You guys, we are showing more bullish indications in the chart now than we have before, even though I do still believe we're going down. Reason being, we've broken out of this long-term downtrend. We broke out of it right here. Just because you broke out of the downtrend does not mean that you have to move up immediately, right? We're witnessing that happen firsthand here. It doesn't mean that you have to move up immediately, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we came back down and interacted with this line, which right now, this line here is all the way down below this low already. So if we see this move down happen in the time frame that I'm expecting it to happen, let's just see here, something like this, I would anticipate that we do stop somewhere around here, which that's around 0.0095, maybe even a little bit lower than that. If we were to get down to prices that are at 0.009 or lower, we would have to see this thing, continue to drop until April 1st, April 2nd, which it very well could, because there's, that big news event with the tariffs coming up on April 2nd. So it all makes sense to me that we would absolutely return back to these exact areas that we've been calling for since this low to this high back here, right? There were a couple times like that we thought we might be moving up higher. It wouldn't surprise me if before we saw this downside, we did get a little pump, but I would have thought it happened over the last couple days if it was going to happen at all. It is possible that we could just pump up and then see some wicked volatility to the downside. So be prepared for that. But at this rate, guys, all in all, I'm just calling for the price to go to lower lows. Whenever it's time, we will go to higher highs. We will see new highs than this, and it's a perfect looking bull flag. We are in a very, very bullish situation. I mean, this is my third bull market. I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes whenever you have a coin that just absolutely demolishes and outperforms the average altcoin, in the same amount of time that the average altcoin moves up, like maybe 100%, 200%, 400% at the most, your top performers are doing like 400%, even 800% moves in this time, and you did a 42x and you have not pumped and dumped, you're just consolidating. It's oftentimes coins like this, just in my experience, what little experience I have, 9 years doing this in technical analysis, third bull market here in the crypto cycles, it's in my experience that these are the coins that tend to continue to outperform the rest of the market. So I expect nothing shy of brilliance to happen whenever it does come to higher prices. And that's really all I have to say, I guess. We're going to go down a little bit. Wouldn't surprise me if we dropped 20 to 30%. From here, a 20% drop is about, 0.008, 0.009, what was it, 0.0088. 30% is a little bit heavier. I don't know if we drop that much, but if we do, if we happen to drop just below the land of the rising sun over here, it's going to be short. It's going to be so fast, you're going to miss it if you blink, man. It's not going to be a long lived thing, but I'm not anticipating that personally. But something to a larger note of a drop than what we've seen over the past, basically over the past half month here. So I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves, and just understand, at least from a fundamental perspective, right? Even if you are trolling, even if you are misinformed, or even if you don't care, right? This is something that I think is valuable. This is not bad volume. This is desirable volume. There are a lot of cryptos that could only strive to achieve volume at their lowest, most boring times that remains somewhat relevant at 6%. That's not bad volume, right? Desirable volume is something like 5 to 8%. Anything more than that's good volume. Anything that's over 100% or even like near 100% is like manipulative behavior, at least in my opinion. Or maybe not manipulation, but just like a sign of a clear dump about to happen. If you're getting above 100% volume and you continue to pump, that is manipulation. But not all manipulation is bad. And again, my proof to that is the US dollar is probably one of the most heavily manipulated things in the entire damn planet, and it is the top currency of the world. It's the reserve currency of the world. So if that says enough right there, I don't know. I really am done this time. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.